Super Rugby Trans-Tasman round 3 team of the week. Going to go through 15 guys who I thought played pretty well at the weekend. As always, I'll go over some of their kind of key moments, key stats, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on who you might have had in a team of the week. Not every team represented in this one, but sometimes that's just kind of the way it goes, depending on how the games go. I've only cheated with one position. I tend to try and pick by the jersey numbers, but every now and again I do a wee bit of cheating. From the Chiefs, I've gone with Reuben O'Neal as number 1. Scored a great try. He's probably going to think it was 50 metres out, but it was, 10 metres out for Reuben O'Neal, maybe a little bit longer. He does get 17 run metres. From 4 carries, again, the most of those probably in that break he gets. It's some pretty poor defending from the Reds, to be fair, at that moment. But he does get the try. He beats a defender, gets a clean break, has 2 passes, 4 from 4 tackles. Scrum was pretty solid. So he is really putting himself in contentions for the All Blacks. So more power to him. He's having a great season. The guy who he was up against at the weekend, now his game is a flawed one. Because I think Tupou was one of the guys kind of caught pretty flat-footed when O'Neal went tearing through that gap. I don't think Tupou got a missed tackle there because he didn't get near him to even attempt a tackle. It may be that the Reds probably should take him off a little bit earlier, but anyway, Taniela Tupou just is such a risk-reward as a player where he always has some stupidly good numbers, but with always a big red flag next to it. So 13 carries for 70 run meters for a prop is just stupid numbers, and he's very active, especially in that first half. I think he's running in, he's clearing out. I think he might have been halfback a couple of times when nobody was there. Very high energy. 4 defenders beaten, 2 clean breaks, 4 passes, and 2 offloads is just stupid good numbers. And he doesn't concede any penalties at the scrum this week either. But he does have 2 from 5 tackles, so he misses 3, and he has 3 turnovers conceded. So sometimes his involvement's too high, and he just needs to focus on the maybe core of his game a little bit more. But it's really hard to ignore a prop who gets 70 run meters and 13 carries. Now, speaking of front rowers who had a lot of run meters from the Hurricanes, and if you haven't seen Asafo Aumua's try by some miracle, you need to stop this video and go back and watch it, because it's like a 60-meter beauty for a guy with number 2 on his back. He is quick, absolutely quick. 13 carries, 1 try from 4 carries. I was almost reading Tupou's numbers again. 67 run meters. Like I said, I think about 60 of them are probably the try. Gets a try, huge long distance one. Line out goes wrong for the Rebels. Aumua just pounces on it, runs pretty much length of the field. He has 3 defenders beaten and that clean break, 4 from 4 passes. 4 from 4 tackles, 4 passes, and 100% line out. So does his core role. Doesn't make as many tackles as maybe he could have, but man, another man who will probably be looking pretty good in black some point on in this season. Locks from the Reds. I am going with Lukan Salakaya Loto. Continues to be that kind of athletic second rower that he is well known for now. 10 carries, 21 run meters is for him not the biggest numbers, but still some of the better locking numbers for run meters this week. He has a clean break and 11 passes, so it shows you how involved he is with everything the Reds do, especially as a bit of a link-up man, got good hands. 11 from 13 tackles, and the scheme of this game is actually not that bad, because remember, both sides put on quite a lot of points. He wins a turnover, 8 line-out wins, I'm pretty sure is the top guy for the week of all teams. He has 1 line-out steal, he does concede 2 penalties, so again, it's not a perfect shift, but I still think he puts in a pretty good one. A Highlander alongside him, I've gone with Josh Dixon. Maybe not quite as flashy. His try is certainly a proper locks try where he just barges over from about 1 metre out. The TMO had to have a check at it, but they gave it. He gets 6 carries and 17 run meters alongside that try, so also pretty good numbers actually. 3 passes, 11 from 11 tackles, 3 line-out wins. Just does everything very consistently. There's no real black marks to be found in his game. At least not that I wrote down anyway. So yeah, pretty happy with that. 6 was a tricky one, and I managed to get in a Waratah, believe it or not. I went with Lockie Swinton, who's got all-round pretty fine numbers as well. He has 11 carries for 45 run meters, which is not something that the Crusaders would be all that happy about, letting him run kind of wild, or at least free. A defender beaten and a clean break, 4 passes and an offload. He does miss 3 tackles, but still makes 16, which I think is the second most Waratah. Very high tackle rate, also wins a turnover, also wins 2 lineouts, and key for him as well, doesn't concede any penalties either. So, yeah, a busy shift. 3 missed tackles is kind of borderline, but I've picked someone with worse tackling stats than that easily. To make 16 is still a pretty big shift. Another player I've gone with, and it's a Blues man, is Dalton Papa, who defensively continues to be maybe the best 7 in the country in the absence of Sam Cane. I mean, Boshier might have something to say about that. 2 carries for 3 run meters is not the best numbers you'll ever see, but 5 passes, so he is involved. Remember, the Blues had bugger all ball in that first half, 30-odd%. But 12 from 12 tackles, he makes them. 3 turnovers, 1 is certainly the most, I think, of any player this week. His threat at the breakdown is phenomenal. Gets the Blues out of jail numerous times every week. The Blues are often under the pump, and it was a credit to the Blues because the Brumbies did put them under some pressure, especially in that first half, that they were kind of able to hold without eventually cracking for the most part. And he wins 3 lineouts as well. Number 8, I've gone with this man again. Luke Jacobson is having a phenomenal season. I know the Chiefs lost, but I still managed to get a Chief in there. 13 carries, 59 run meters, continues to show that bit of dynamic flair that he's got. I know he's competing with the likes of Artie Savia, especially if Kane's fit. Artie is likely going to be gunning that number 8 jersey, but Jacobson's flexible. He can play other positions as well, namely 6. But yeah, he looks really good at 8. 2 defenders beaten, 5 passes and an offload, 12 from 13 tackles, wins a turnover, and 2 line-out wins as well. Savia came off the bench in his game against the Rebels too and did look sharp, but Jacobson likewise, if he can stay fit, also looking very sharp. Halfback, I've gone with another Blues man. I will talk about Aaron Smith briefly. I mean, he has like 3 try assists and by all accounts should probably be here. But he misses that key moment at the end to get that bonus point out. If he gets that try, it's Aaron Smith all day long, but I've let my Blues bias get to me. Finlay Christie scored a heck of a try, and it's hard not to admire it, man. He gets a try, 4 carries, 35 run meters, beats 7 defenders, at least 6 of them in the try, surely. A clean break, 56 passes, and an offload. I thought his distribution work was pretty well. Chose the right man more often than not. Puts 3 kicks in as well. 10 from 12 tackles is a pretty good success rate for a guy who plays number 9. Yeah, he seems to be the guy at the moment. The Blues have been kind of rotating between their 3 guys, but Christie is putting his hand up the last couple of weeks for sure. Number 10, and I tried to justify going my man Otere Black in this one because he has more traditional first 5 numbers, but Moonga is just undeniable. He doesn't get any tries or any try assists, but I went back and rewatched the highlights, and if rugby did like a secondary assist stat, he would be all over the place, man. He gets 6 carries for 57 run meters. That's low for him, maybe. He's so dangerous. 3 defenders beaten in a clean break, 32 passes and an offload, 7 from 9 tackles, 8 kicks, 2 conversions. No, that's not right. I think he misses 1 kick. How many tries did they score? I think he just missed 1 on a pretty windy day as well. So, yeah, Monger was sharp, man. He was sharp. He was the guy often setting up the guy who got the line break, who maybe got the try assist. Like Will Jordan ended up with a couple of try assists, but often the guy who passed it to Will Jordan was Richie Monger. He just looks so sharp. I mean, Black had a good game. Black kicked his goals as well. Black did get a couple of try assists. But I still think Monger is just the sharpest knife in the drawer. He is, he's a force to be reckoned with this season. Midfielders, I've gone with a Reds man. First start for him, and he bags a couple of tries. Old Isaac Henry, 2 tries from 5 carries is a great return. 59 run meters. Beats 3 defenders, has 2 clean breaks. Both those clean breaks are in all likelihood his try. Took his first one really well. Ran a really good angle to go through a big gap. 2 passes from him. 9 from 12 tackles is again 3 tackles missed. It's a little bit sus, but that was just kind of the nature of that game. It was more of a free-flowing one at times. So yeah, credit to the young guy. Played pretty well. Next from the Crusaders is Leicester Fainga Nuku. He also gets a try. He also has 16 carries, which is a huge number of involvements, and 121 run meters. You look at his passes, 8 passes, 4 offloads. One of them is that crazy offload, I think, to Mataele, and then Mataele passes it to Taylor, I think, for the try. Like, his skill set is phenomenal. He's a big ball carrier. He's got good hands. 5 defenders beaten and a clean break. He's a proper unit. Now, 6 from 9 tackles, like our man Henry, who's missed 3 tackles. His tackle completion rate's not that great. There's a few midfielders in New Zealand at the moment who are very good going forward. I know Whanganuku, like Rico Ioane, who's maybe the guy I'm referring to, is a winger come midfielder. I don't know what Leicester's original position was. I've seen him more as a winger first, and then he's kind of been shifted into the midfield from time to time. Yeah, the defensive reads seems to be the one area of the game that they could all use a bit of work. So 2 penalties considered as well, maybe a bit of a black mark. But man, overall, he's a proper unit. Outside backs, I've gone with this man from the Canes. Salesi Reasi continues to just show a phenomenal skill set with ball in hand. 2 tries from him. Remember that second one? The ball's essentially on the ground. He just kind of tips it up to himself with his feet. That's stupidly good. 11 carries, 157 run meters. Half of those would have been that length of the field job when they were under the pump. 5 defenders beaten, 2 clean breaks, 6 passes and offload. 4 from 4 tackles, wins a turnover. Also makes 5 kicks. So, yeah, man. The All Blacks are spoiled for choice with guys who play left wing. That is for sure. But remember, Caleb Clark's going to go to the Olympics if that goes ahead. So there is an opening. Other winger, here's where I've cheated. I've gone with another left winger in Marika Korobete. He finally gets a try. He's been good all season. If you've been watching my AU videos as well, I picked him in the team of the week numerous times, not getting a try. This week he gets 2. 2 finally breaks his duck. 11 carries, 86 run meters. His involvements are always huge. And he's the guy who comes off his wing all the time, so you can kind of half pick him on the right wing if you like. It's a bit of a stretch. 5 defenders beaten, 2 clean breaks, 3 passes and an offload. The black mark is the 5 from 10 tackles. Goodness gracious me, you can't be doing that, but you don't pick wingers largely for their tackle completion rate. You pick them for the offensive stuff, and he's certainly done that in spades. Obviously, it's nice to have a bit of everything, but it's not uncommon for wingers to miss a few. He'd obviously like to miss a few less than that. But Korobete gets a couple of tries and a decent effort from the Rebels. And the last guy I've gone with is a pretty competitive one, but I've gone with Will Jordan. Like I mentioned earlier, he does get 2 try assists. He also gets a try of his own, shows some pretty good footwork in that one. He is a lethal finisher, not 11. It's 14 carries for 129 run meters. 7 defenders beaten, 3 clean breaks. It's kind of everyday stuff from him. 100 plus run meters, more than 5 defenders beaten, more than a couple of clean breaks. He just does it all the time. 19 passes and an offload. That's a huge set of involvements for a fullback. 6 from 6 tackles as an outside back who can make his tackles, and 3 kicks. But yeah, that's the team of the week. Honourable mentions, Aaron Smith, like I mentioned, 3 try assists, missed that last try. Also, Nadeki, I've done the dirty on him about 3 weeks running now. A try, 95 run meters, 5 defenders beaten. Also a proper lethal player. George Worth, the Rebels man, had a couple of try assists, did really well to stay in the field of play. to kind of, again, also get like a semi-secondary assist for one of their tries. Karifi for the Hurricanes got a try and had a heap of tackles. Fergus Warner from the Force had, I think, 16 out of 16 tackles. Angus Bell for the Tars, 12 out of 12 tackles, wins a turnover. Pretty busy shift from him as usual. Cullen Grace from the Crusaders, 81 run meters for a number 8. Crazy, 15 carries, 11 from 11 tackles. Could have had him in there instead of Jacobson, but went with Jacobson for this one. The Blues, just their scrum, man. Their scrum was huge. Tuna Kuafe can have a big part in that. Laulala looked big when he came on and put the Brumbies guys under pressure. Stowers for the Brumbies, 11 for 11 tackles, 1 turnover, 1. Decent effort from him in a tough night. Hegarty had a couple of try assists. Good for the Reds. One of his better games for the Reds. Xavier Rowe came on for the Chiefs and got a try and a try assist. Really added a bit of kind of zip. So heaps of guys you can pick from, but I've narrowed it down to these 15. You guys let me know your thoughts as always. Who else would you have had in your team? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, drop comments, all helps. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.